Allora, it's Euroyard. It's time to talk about Sanremo 2026, Italy's national song contest, the long-running song contest from Bella Italia. So this is Euroyard, and of course, I would have done this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, if I could have, but as I was preparing my notes and everything, I realized that they don't release the songs before the first night of Sanremo, which at the time I recorded this was today, Tuesday, February the 24th. So at the time this video is posted, Sanremo will be continuing on. We'll talk a little bit about how Sanremo is structured for those who don't know, and then we'll get into our top 10 because I had to sit through 4.5 hours of night one, and of course, I do love Sanremo. It is long, but you just come to accept that that's the way it is. I'm mesmerized by Italian commercials. You got to sit through all of that, and then I finally was able to come up with my scores, so we do have a top 10 for Sanremo in 2026. And before we get into the notes in the contest, a tutti gli italiani, popolo mio, benvenuti a Euroyard. It is my honor to have you here if you're just finding us for the first time. So, all right, let's talk about Sanremo. So, like I mentioned, it started today, for me anyway, on the 24th of February, and it will end on Saturday the 28th, which is Super Saturday in the Eurovision bubble. There are a lot of national finals going on Saturday the 28th. It is going to be the busiest day of national finals this year, hands down. So buckle up because it's going to get busy around here. So in Sanremo, if you didn't catch night one, you haven't really tuned in yet. There are 30 performing acts. I have now seen all 30. Perhaps you have as well, and you just want to know who's in our top 10. So here's how Sanremo works. On night one, like what happened on Tuesday, all 30 people perform. On night two, they divide it in half. So 15 out of the 30 will perform on night two. The other 15 will perform on night three. Then night four is what we call cover night. The performers will usually pair with somebody else, perhaps a famous singer in Italy, perhaps a former Sanremo participant, and they'll do a cover of another song. And then night five is finale night. You've got all 30 performing again. And then you move on to deciding the winner of the festival at Sanremo. And as you may recall, the winner of Sanremo in 2025 was Ali. He did not go to Eurovision. He had some scheduling commitments. And I kind of sensed that when he got asked at his press conference and he kind of waffled on it. He had a tour coming up, so he passed on going to Eurovision. And Lucio Corsi went in his place. Lucio Corsi, of course, who came in second at Sanremo last year. So on the screen now, we're going to rotate through the 30 songs. So this is not in the order in which they were performed in night one. They are very simply in alphabetical order. So you can see the first 16 songs that we have here. And now we'll put up the next 14 songs, add that all up, that makes 30. You can find on some other great websites like EurovisionWorld.com. You can also go onto Spotify. You can go onto Rise website and listen to the songs, see the videos, whatever. Or, you could also just watch Sanremo with us. I know it's probably not for everybody because it is an investment of time, but I do recommend it because I feel like as somebody who has invested a lot of time in Eurovision and who has invested a lot of time in recent years in national finals, I do feel like you're missing out if you're not paying attention to Sanremo because Sanremo really is the gold standard. It is the contest off of which Eurovision is based. So without Sanremo, there would be no Eurovision, most likely. And I got to tell you, they put on a spectacular show there. The production values are second to none. You can put it against any other national final anywhere in Europe. So they do a great job. And now it's just time to talk about the songs. So we listened to all 30 songs here at Euroyard, and this is our top 10. So we have our scoring system. We take a number of things into consideration. The lyrics were the last thing that I entered in, And a few of my scores shifted when I put the lyrical scores in. And I will say, there were some songs that lyrically were very, very good. Some were not so good, but there were some songs I was impressed at how good they were lyrically. So if you're ready, we're ready. We'll put it on the screen right now. So we're going to give our top 10 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12 points. 12 points are 12 points. That would be, obviously, our top song. But we start at number 10, getting 1 point from Euroyard. The song is called La Felicità e Basta by Maria Antonietta e Colombre. So this song, it had a good beat, and it was likable. At first, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm not so sure about this one. But then as the song progressed on, I started to become a little bit more invested in it. It had a little bit of a funky vibe to it. And I'm like, okay, all right, I can see the vision. So I didn't quite love like the real close-up angles that they were giving of the face. Maybe back the cameras off a little bit. But otherwise, I didn't think it was bad. It certainly was a little bit different, and I like that. So now, getting 2 points from Euroyard in 9th place. The song is by a guy named Safe, and the song is called Tu mi piaci tanto. So I found this one pretty complex, and it was hard for me to gather my thoughts about it because when Sanremo was over, I realized, wow, I listened to this song like 4 hours ago because it was one of the earliest ones that was performed in the contest. But this song had some layers to it, and I gave it a good score for uniqueness. I gave it a good score for the energy and for the vibe that it had. Didn't give it the best score for the vocals, but certainly what it was able to do in terms of its likability, that took it far enough up the score sheet. So the next song, getting 3 points from Euroyard in 8th place by LDA e H7. This one was better than I expected. When these two guys came down the stairs, I'm like, I don't know what this is going to be. I think some people out there were worried on the internet that it was going to be a boring ballad kind of thing, and it wasn't. This song had a good vibe. I would say it was better than I expected. The vocals, I think, actually were a little better than I expected, too. I put them at average. I honestly wasn't expecting them to get up to average, but they honestly were. Lyrically, it wasn't like the greatest, but I appreciated it. I was able to get into it a little bit, and you know what? When you're better than expected in a contest like this, that does tend to go a long way, so those guys did a good job. In 7th place, getting 4 points from Euroyard. This song is by Marasate. The song is called Le Cose Che Non Sa Di Me. I would say that this one had good vocals. This wasn't the most engaging song. It wasn't the most entertaining song. Some of the ballads that you heard at Sanremo 2026 maybe were a little slower, maybe were a little less interesting than perhaps in some years past. So I'm not necessarily thinking it was a unique sound per se, but she sang it really well. And I gave her one of the highest vocal scores of the night. Her vocals were pretty crisp, I thought, for the most part. So I gave her a lot of credit for that. And, you know, good vocals are always going to be a top priority for us at Euroyard. So we recognize that, and we gave her 4 points. Getting 5 points in 6th place from Euroyard. This song is called Magica Favola by Arisa. So, yeah, this was a little bit of a dated ballad. I did think it was a little slow. However, again, she really sang it very well, I thought, and I thought that this song lyrically was very, very interesting. So, those two things together, it was able to capture my attention. If you can sing the hell out of a song, even if it's not that good of a song, if you can sing the hell out of it, you're going to make your way up the scoreboard. Maybe you won't win, and maybe you don't deserve to win, but you're going to get recognition for it. So it's kind of like the song behind it, where maybe it wasn't the most interesting or new or fresh composition, but it was performed well. So give Arisa credit for that, and she gets 5 points from us. And moving on to 6 points in 5th place. This song is called Animali Notturni by Malika Ayane. So I was feeling it. This one kind of had that funky vibe. And I have said this in other videos where we've rated songs from other national finals. It seems like most national finals I have watched this year, there's been at least one song that's had that funky, swanky kind of beat. And this was the one for Sanremo. I was getting into it. At first, I wasn't sure if I was feeling it. And then I'm like, why am I moving to this song? Like I was, I was rocking back. So I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm feeling it. So yeah, I thought the vocals were maybe about average, but I liked it. I thought it was a decent song, and let's see how she does. Getting up towards the top now, in fourth place, getting 7 points from Euroyard. This song is called Resta Con Me, and the band that performed it is Bamboli di Pezza. So this one came towards the end of the contest, and it gave some needed energy after some slower ballads that kind of needed some boost. So this one gave us that boost. I think this was one of the most engaging songs of the contest. The vocals were decent. I thought it was a fresh sound. I enjoyed it. I think it was easy to like. So give it some respect, and 7 points. And now we move on to 8 points. Getting onto the podium, the bronze medal. Of course, Italy just hosted the Olympics, so we'll talk medals here. Getting the bronze medal, 8 points. Third place, this song is called Qui Con Me by Serena Brancale. So I will start by saying, I don't think it was the greatest song. I think the song was a bit of a dud. The underlying song was a bit of a dud. However, I do think, and she did finish in the top 5 on night 1, I do think this is a contender to win Sanremo, because I think, based on what I've seen of her, she does have the stage presence to pull this off. Like I said before, with some of those other songs that maybe weren't the most exciting songs, but they were performed well, I think she has the vocal ability. I think she has the stage presence. I think she can make the song bigger than it is. So, of course, do I wish it were maybe a little bit more of an exciting underlying song? Yes, I do. Do I think she did about as well as she could have with what she had? Yeah, I do. Getting up to the top 2 now and getting 10 points. Second place, the silver medal. This song is called Stella Stellina by Ermal Meta. So this one had an underlying meaning. I will leave it to you to find out what that is. Lyrically, I thought for that reason it was quite good. His vocals honestly weren't bad. It was a slower song, but I was engaged with it. I was kind of fixated on him when he was performing. I wouldn't say mesmerized, but definitely fixated a little bit. He had a way of just kind of charming me while he was performing, even though it was about a very sad subject. He just really carried a very soft, understated presence, but there was you could see there was a lot of emotion behind it. So I think this was a very good performance. I'm surprised it wasn't in the top 5, but I would like to see this song do well. So now, the moment you've been waiting for, the song getting 12 points, deuce point, the gold medal. This song is called Que Fastidio by Dito Nella Piaga. So this was actually the first song out of the gate, number 1 in the running order, and it was the best one, I think. I wish she were singing a little more loudly, because this would have won by quite a bit more than it did on my score sheet if she had. But I thought the song was fresh. I thought it was engaging. I thought the staging, for Sanremo anyway, I thought the staging was good. I was entertained. And this song did finish in the top 5, so I think it is going to be a contender throughout this week. And Italy doesn't really send songs like this, like fast-moving bangers like this. I mean, they did send some glam rock back in 2021, which did very well. And I'm still a little salty that Angelina Mango didn't do better in 2024, but this is a little bit of a different look for Italy, so I hope it does well throughout the week, and this definitely was my favorite song out of all 30. So let's talk end notes. Let's wrap up Sanremo here. So, like I said at the beginning, this is a high-quality production. They know what they're doing over at Ari Stone, over at Rai. They know what they're doing. They know how to put on a good show. But I did find while I was watching it, I'm not sure it was the greatest mix of styles of songs. There were some national finals that I've watched this year that were much smaller than Sanremo. But I was thinking to myself, wow, even for only having 10, 12 songs, they really got a good mix of different styles of music in there. There was some, but I felt like there were certain songs that they went a little heavy on. There were several, for example, songs where there were like spoken word elements and kind of like that, almost like a rap sound. Like, yeah, there were several of those. And then there were several slower ballads that kind of sounded similar. So I wish there were a little more variety in it, although I was able to find some songs that I liked. But then as far as what comes forward, it shocks me to say this, but I actually don't know that there's a Eurovision winner in here. I feel like Italy is one of those big five countries that, if pressed to, they could come up with a potential Eurovision winner pretty much every year. I actually don't think I hear one in here. Now, whatever song wins is going to get backing, and Rai and the delegation, they're going to do it up big. So I don't necessarily think Italy will do poorly at Eurovision. But right off the bat, I didn't hear anything that blew me away that I'm like, that song could do it. The only songs that made me feel that way so far this year were Ferto in Greece and Slave in Estonia, and we know what happened to that one. So, I don't know. Let's see how things go over the remainder of the week, but I don't know. Is this a weaker Sanremo? Or is it just me? You can let us know in the comments what you think, but stick around at Euroyard, like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We'll see you soon.